Hi, today I'm going to talk about several vocabulary words and the difference an accent can make on pronunciation. So then, let's see. Nausea is an interesting word in English. Actually, it's really pronounced nausea with more of a Z. Nausea. And the primary accent is on the first syllable. Nausea, nausea. So even though nauseous is spelled similarly, at least the first part, that S in the middle isn't a Z sound, it's now an SH sound. Because, English is like that. You just never know. So you have nausea, and that is making you nauseous. Nauseous. So nauseous. And it's, again, the accent is on the first syllable. Nauseous. So nausea, nauseous. Sh, sh. And the middle sound of nauseous is that sh, sh sound, even though it is spelled with just an S-E-O-U-S. So nausea, you have nausea, you feel nauseous. Next one is heart. Heart. The middle sound in heart is the same as the middle sound in hard. It's an AR, vocalic R sound. Even though it's spelled with an E-A-R, it's just, forget the E. It's AR. Heart. Heart. And the AR sound is, you're going to start with the ah vowel, ah, which is kind of a short O sound, ah, and then your tongue moves back and up for the R. R, R. So heart, hard. Those both have the same middle AR sound. Chest pain. Chest pain is one of those abstract, non-countable things that you have. So there's no article in front of it like a or the. It's just chest pain. You might say, do you have any chest pain? Or do you have chest pain? But there's no, do you have a chest pain? Also, sometimes if you are in the habit of putting an after the V in have, do you have a water? Do you have a chest pain? Do you have a this? In English, there wouldn't be any of that at the end. So what you would do is put a mental block, a little mental stop sign after the final V in have, and just pause. Do you have chest pain? Do you have water? Do you have family? Just make a little stop there so that you're not tempted to run it all together with an Do you have a water? Do you have a family? Do you have... It's just have. Stops right there. Do you have chest pain? Do you have water? Okay, let's see. Hostile. H-O-S-T-I-L-E, meaning not friendly. You say it the same way as H-O-S-T-E-L, hostile. So that T-I-L-E, for some reason, even though there's an E on the end, we're not making that I a long I. It's just hostile. It's one of those funny English vowel sounds at the end that isn't. It's kind of a lazy pronunciation that has become the norm. So hostile. Hostile forces were attacking the village. Hostile. Yawn, Y-A-W-N, like yawn. That A-W in the middle, you pronounce it like a short O. Ah. So, yawn. And forget that there's a W there. Don't try to pronounce the W at all, or it will sound funny. Just yawn, as if it were Y-O-N, yawn. If you do anything at all in between the Y and the N, it might sound funny. So yawn, yawn. You can't move your lips or anything at all. It has to be yawn, yawn. Just straight up and down, yawn. And your tongue comes forward for the N. At the end, yawn, yawn. Make sure your tongue doesn't hit anything else on the way from the back for the Y and the front for the N. Yawn, yawn. Respiratory failure. That's a long phrase. So for people to understand that word, you need to make sure your accents are correct. Respiratory. So it's on the first syllable and then the fourth. But the strongest is on the first syllable. Respiratory. So not respiratory or respiratory or any other version. It's got to be respiratory. Respiratory. And then failure is like F long A L Y E R. Failure. It's not spelled that way, but that's kind of the phonetic spelling there. Failure. 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 Respiratory failure. Respiratory failure. So tory at the end, like story. Like, will you read me a story? But it's respiratory. Respiratory. And failure. Another long word, occasionally. So for this one, the accent is on the second syllable. Occasionally. Occasionally. And that S in the middle is a Z sound. Occasionally. Let's see. Oh, diabetes. Don't forget that there's that Z sound at the end. It's spelled with an S, but it's the Z sound at the end. In English, all those little sounds at the end of words are really important because they're often markers for whether or not the word is plural, whether or not diabetes. It can change the tense of the verb, like today I make, yesterday I made. All those sounds at the end of the word are very important, so it's something you have to get right in order to be understood. So diabetes instead of diabetes, friend instead of friend. Also, speaking of accents, like on the previous word, occasionally, if you don't have the accent on the right word, people will misunderstand you because some words are solely dependent on the accent. For instance, present, as in we live in the present, we live in the here and now, or I give you a present. Those are both pronounced the same way and spelled the same way, present. But there's also a word that is spelled the same way as those two, present. It is spelled the same way, but you say it present. So you change the pre to a pre and put the accent on the second syllable. Present. I will present you my talk on accents. I don't know. Present. I'm going to present my friend so-and-so to the board. Whatever. Versus present. Present, present. Or, for example, desert. I live in the desert. There's lots of cacti. There's lots of jackrabbits, whatever. Desert versus dessert. Similar sounds, but the accent is on the second syllable, dessert. It's also spelled with an extra S. But, so remember that. And fluid. Fluid is spelled F-L-U-I-D, but you say it as if it were F-L-E-W-I-D. Fluid, like the bird flew, and then id, fluid, fluid. With the accent on the first syllable, fluid. So, and that is all for today. I hope that helps.